Good morning. Namaste, everyone. Welcome to our 105th Talk to the Experts series. I am Rashmi Sood-Anand, your host for today. And the theme for our today's discussion is exploring possibilities with augmentative and alternative communication. Say hello to Jellow. Now, for our viewers, AAC, augmentative and alternate communication, means including all forms of communication other than oral speech that are used to express thoughts, needs, wants, and ideas. On this note, let me welcome the entire team behind Jellow. A very warm welcome to each member here. I would first like to start with a welcome of Dr. Professor Ravi Poovaiah, an Emeritus Fellow and a senior faculty member at IDC School of Design, IIT Bombay. He is the founder of Jellow Labs and has been involved in conceptualizing and developing AAC applications that help those with speech difficulties, in particularly those with autism and cerebral palsy. I would now like to welcome Dr. Ajanta Sen. Ma'am, she is the founder and director of Jellow Lab, founder of Design in India, and director of Solar Project. She is PhD in developmental planning for IIT Bombay and has been engaged in international play and learn activities. She has conceptualized the emotional language protocol, which we call ELP, in Jellow. I would now request to welcome Mr. Roop Sahoo, the project manager and the technical support of Jellow, who has been with the company since its inception with 9+ years of experience in HCI and UX. I welcome Shweta Pathare, is the Jellow's talented graphic designer. She has played a very crucial role in developing Jellow's expansive icon library and has also contributed to the interface design of various Jellow apps. Last but not the least, Vidya Upadhyay. I really welcome Vidya. She's Jellow's marketing representative. She organizes Jellow workshops and is the one-point contact for any information on Jellow. A real hearty welcome once again to the entire Jellow team. It's a pleasure to have you all on our platform. A very warm welcome. So, starting with our session today, my first question goes to Ravi sir here. Sir, could you please tell us about the idea behind creating Jellow and a bit more about the team?
Okay, so it all started in 2003 when we had an invitation from Microsoft. Okay, and along with the students, we actually looked at cerebral palsy children and looked at their communication needs, And out of this, necessity was born the idea for Jellow. At that time, we had actually thought of it as a very tangible device where you can actually thump it to, create communication, and we had different colors which were basically denoting different emotions. And if you hit, for example, the red button, it would say, it was the negative connotation. And the positives were all colorful colors, so that was a very simple way to actually start speaking out for those who cannot actually communicate, Of course, the tangible device turned out to be very expensive. So we actually waited for the touch devices to come, So it was somewhere around 2006 that we actually, did the interface for the laptops or the desktops. And then, of course, we ported it onto the mobile. And then we did extensive user studies. Once we realized that what we are trying to do makes a lot of sense, because what big difference that we did was that we did it from the children's point of view. It was not an adult version made suitable for children. So everything in Jellow has been conceptualized from the child's point of view. Their ability to interact with the information. It is very simple, extremely easy to use. So these were considerations. Even the icons are very child friendly. It's something that I would like to look at. So these were the considerations, and also recognizability, how recognizable they are. So we spent a lot of time and effort doing this, including doing very longitudinal studies. Like we've done a 6 months long study with autistic children in our hospital and also at the University of Connecticut in the USA. These 6 months long studies actually proved that the children gained a lot by making use of Jellow as against children who didn't use it during the same period. So we are a test group against that, we do it. So that's why we have the confidence that, this is something which will make a difference to children, and especially children who have autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome, or maybe even an injury, for example, which takes off your voice for a while. That's a short answer to, why we are doing Jellow.
Yes, so I indeed can, figure out that there's lots that has gone behind Jellow, what it is today, and how much the team has put in efforts in terms of putting colors, the mascots, all very child friendly. So they love to interact. So very user interactive, which as we understand. So sir, now here I would like to call Shweta to let us know, let our viewers know how does the app work, and she can guide us whether they need a therapist or it's self-driven. So Shweta is going to take us and explain us for a couple of minutes all the applications, how they are used. So parents who are there can really make a note of it and understand the process. So over to you, Shweta.
Yes, thank you, Rashmi. So I'll be sharing my screen for this. I hope my screen is visible to you all.
Yeah.
Shweta.
So welcome to Jellow Communicator, which is conceived by researchers at IIT Bombay. Jellow helps children to communicate, to learn to speak, especially those with autism, cerebral palsy, and Down syndrome. The problem was that there was a need for a solution that was child-friendly, designed especially for children, was very simple and easy to understand, is culturally sensitive to your food, festivals, and places, with access to multiple languages. What we have come up with has both high-tech and low-tech solutions, and it is accessible on various platforms. The best part of Jellow is that it is available as an open design initiative. The journey of Jellow started in 2004 as a tangible product. Then in 2008, it was made available on desktops. After that, after extensive user studies, it was conceived as a complete communication system available on a variety of platforms. So as Sir said, Jellow is designed iteratively with feedback from our users, who are children, parents, speech therapists, and special educators. And it is substantiated through research by doing a 6-month-long longitudinal study with autistic children at Naya Hospital and also at the University of Connecticut. So Jellow is not only a mobile application, but it forms a complete communication system. You can download the flashcards and booklet of Jellow. You can print them. Then Jellow is available on desktops. Jellow is also available as a mobile application, and you can use that on a tablet as well. Also, you can attach external switches to Jellow in cases of cerebral palsy. You can attach switches to the to the device that you have Jellow on and use the application. Also, you can customize Jellow. This is how Jellow's interface is. So if you click on a icon learn, the app will speak of the word learn. And then using the right icon buttons on the right and left hand side of the screen, you can form sentences with that particular word learn. So if you select like, it says, I like to learn. If you select yes, it says, I want to learn. If you select more, it says, I want to learn more. And then similarly, if the child selects don't like, it says, I don't like to learn. Then here, I don't want to learn. I don't want to learn anymore. This is how Jellow looks on a tablet. We have a few unique features of Jellow. Jellow is designed especially for children, and it is not an adult version that is made suitable for children. It has 1200 icons which are child friendly, and they are all designed in-house. It has an easy to use interface. Jellow's icons are culturally contextual. So we have culturally contextual icons of your food, festivals, and places. Jellow is driven by its expressive emotional language protocol, which are the 6 expressive buttons on either side of the screen. It is available in multiple international languages and several Indian languages as well. And we are working on adding more languages in Jellow. Jellow can be customized by using the Make My Board feature. Finally, Jellow can be connected to external switches and has built-in accessibility features. I'll share a few user stories with you. Kavita learned to use the toilet in a short time after using Jellow with the help of the toilet routine. Her mother downloaded Jellow flashcards and taught Kavita the step-by-step process of using the toilet. Jonathan uses a head-mounted pointer to communicate with Jellow. Ismail, a speech therapist who uses the extensive library of animal icons to narrate stories to his therapy students. Ankit was not able to stay in the same school and had to change schools after just a few months. Using Jellow gave him the confidence, and in turn, he felt comfortable to go to the same school. We are proud to have won these prestigious awards: the UNICEF Innovation Award, our National Award, M-Brilliant Award, Microsoft Award, and the Microsoft Lippmann Award. This is the team behind Jellow, who have helped build Jellow and is involved in its further development as well. If you have any more queries about Jellow, you can visit our website or write to us on jellowcommunicator@gmail.com. So here I'm going to now stop sharing my screen and move to the demonstration of the application. Just give me a few minutes to do that.
Sure, sure.
I hope my screen is visible to you all and you can now see the application.
Yes, we can. So for our viewers here to understand very quickly, I would just like to put it across that Shweta is showing the actual demo in terms of how we use the app so that we don't have any confusion. Is it correct, Shweta?
Yes, Rashmi.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. So this is the Jellow application. As you can see at the center, we have 9 category buttons, and on the right and left hand side, we have the expressive buttons. So to use Jellow to communicate, you can click on an icon like this. It says the word eating. Then on the left, when you use the icons, it says, I like to eat, I want to eat, I want to eat some more. And if you click the buttons on the right, it says, I don't like to eat, I don't want to eat, I don't want to eat anymore. So Jellow Basics library of 1200 icons is categorized into these 9 categories. Brief and Feel is a category which houses icons of related to conversation and also to express your feelings. Daily activities include icons of sequenced activities like the toilet routine, bathing routine, sleep routine, etc. Eating houses icons of all your food, and these icons are culture specific. That means this category's content changes according to the app language you select, so that the content is more relatable to the child. So here, as you can see, you see English food, Indian food icons over here, because I've selected the language English India. Fun has icons of various recreational activities for children. Learning has subcategories of lot of basic concepts for the child to learn about, like animals and birds, shapes, colors, objects, and more. people as icons of the people that the child would have in their life. So we have icons of family members and also icons like the therapist and the caregiver. Places has icons of places that you would take your child to, like park or mall. Time and weather has icons of time, weather, festivals, and birthdays. Health is an important category that has icons of the things that the child would require if they need any assistance. For example, if they want to go to the toilet urgently, or if they feel sick or tired, they can use this category. We also have an About Me section here that gives information about the child. Lastly, we have an emergency button here, which when you click, a call is directly placed to the child's parents or caregiver's phone number. In cases of any emergencies, you can use this feature. You can enable this through our app's settings. So speaking of settings, let's have a look at some basic ones. We have a search setting which lets you search a particular icon. So I've searched the icon cat. When I click on the speaker button, it will speak up the icon. We also have a keyboard setting. So if your child is comfortable with using the keyboard, they can just type in a sentence here and the app and click on the speaker button and the app will speak up the sentence for your child. A few settings help to customize the child's experience of using Jellow. So you can set number of icons per screen as per your child's ease. So if your child is able to concentrate on less content, you can use the one icon per screen mode also. If your child has cerebral palsy, you can attach external switches as we discussed earlier. If you have any queries about that, you can go to accessibility and we have a few videos to guide you through the process. Developing Jellow in as many as languages as possible has always been our goal. Currently, the app is in 3 international languages, in 5 accents of English, along with our regional languages like Hindi, Marathi, Bengali, Tamil, Telugu, Gujarati, and Punjabi. We are also working on adding Northeastern Indian languages like Assamese, Khasi, and Garo. So to set the language of the app, you have to go to the app menu, go to language, select a language from the drop-down. I am selecting Hindi over here. Select a voice and then click on Apply Change. You can now see that the app has been converted to Hindi. So a widely asked question that we get is, can we customize Jellow? Can we make our own icons? The answer to that is absolutely yes, you can. Not only icons, you can also make your own customized folders for those icons, which are called boards in Jellow. So let's have a look at Jellow's customization feature called Make My Board. So you can access this feature through our app menu. You see My Boards over here, or we also have a shortcut for that, the plus icon here, that lets you enter the Make My Board feature. So here I have created a few customized boards for you. So let's have a look at the animal board. So here I've selected icons from the Jellow library and I've added my own customized icon of the lion. So what I did was I downloaded an image from the internet, saved it in my phone, and I've added it here and made the customized icon of lion. Then using, you can also make boards for short activities. Like here I have created a board for egg and bread shopping. So here I've included a few greetings and currency icons from the Jellow's icon library, and I've added customized icons for types of bread and quantities of eggs. So this board can help the child to communicate in such a shopping situation. You can also make boards in various languages, like I have made one here in Hindi for going to the mall. So using the Make My Board feature is very easy. If you want to create a board, just click on the plus button here, add the name of the board, select the language of the board. I'm selecting English India. I'm selecting a voice for it. And then I'm choosing the icon for my board. Currently, I'm going to use the icon from Jellow's own icon library. I'm going to type animals here, selecting the icon and click on continue. Now here you have the option of selecting selecting icons from Jellow's icon library. If you don't want to do so, no problem, just click on next. So now you enter your board. Now you can add as many customized icons here as you want. So click on the add icon button here. Then I want to add animals. So I'm going to now use photos from my own phone. So when I click on gallery, I've already pre-downloaded a few animal photos here. So I'm going to choose one photo and I'm going to crop it how I like. And that is how I can create the customized icon. Now I'm going to write the word for it. Click on continue. Now you can select the sentences also. So remember we had the expressive buttons. You can now select or deselect responses, and you can also edit the sentences. Click on save once you are happy with your customizations. And once you finish making all customizations, finally click on the save button here. This is how you can create a board using the Make My Board feature. We now have another customization feature, which lets you customize right in the main application. So for that, just go to settings and enable the customization setting. From here, click on save. So now you see a plus button here in the main application. That means you can create a 10th, 11th, 12th category, customized category in the application. When you open a particular category, you will see you can add a subcategory over here as well. So we recommend this customization feature if only one child is using the device. For special educators and SLPs, the Make My Board customization feature can be more helpful to cater to multiple children. So I conclude my demonstration by requesting you all to download Jellow, use it, and let us know your feedback. Thank you for listening to me. Over to you, Rashmi.
Thank you so much, Shweta. I am sure it was very informative to our viewers. So one of the viewers here have said, her name is Neena Girish. She says, very informative presentation, a great initiative. And also Purnima ma'am, she says here, this is a very informative interaction. I have shared it with so many others to know about it. So at the same time, I have also received a question from one of the viewers, and it could be sir or Shweta or ma'am, Ajanta ma'am, any one of us, you can answer it. So the question is, why should I use any app while I understand what my child wants to say? So is it important that a parent should use an app, or if the parent understands what the child wants to communicate? So sir or ma'am, if you want to address to this question.
Yeah, just ask Ajanta, do you want to answer it?
Yeah, I'll address that. It's a fairly common question. It used to be a fairly common question before. There's a lot of clarification in this regard from us, so the question doesn't pop up that much anymore. But just to say that the app is meant to supplement your speech effort with your child at home. It's a supplement. So when the child uses the app, the child gains in confidence, and in the process, of course, the child gains in self-esteem. But if you think that your own intervention with the child is enough, and you don't need to use it, then you don't need to use it. But Jellow also allows the child a kind of companionship. It does a lot of things that you don't always want to ask your parent. It becomes a parallel extra world along with the parent. So you could actually customize some of the interfaces to your own advantage, so that your interfacing with your child itself becomes more meaningful, more fun, more playful, because there are sections in Jellow which revolve around festivals, around foods, etc., etc. And we have plans to expand the whole repertoire of activities in future. But what there is now itself is quite a lot. I hope that answers your question.
I just want to add one thing. This was a feedback given to us by one of the Jellow users. They felt so thrilled because the child for the first time could actually say happy birthday to the grandfather, and the child did it on its own, on her own. So the parents said that was such a, beautiful moment for us, because otherwise we had to do it for the child. So that is one instance of how, use of Jellow can be helpful.
So as I understand, so it only not, the communication app doesn't only help the child communicate with the parent. That is one aspect the parent does, because the parent is interacting with the child. And the other aspect which you mentioned was it helps the child to communicate with the other people around them as well. So it is just not the parents' involvement, what we understand, it is the community's involvement where the child socializes, he or she is able to communicate with the app. And as ma'am said, the app could be a buddy to the child to express his or her emotions as he wants to while he is with the family or the
I just want to add another thing here. Increasingly in the space of disability, the idea is to try and reduce the component of special needs, whether schools, teachers, etc., and make the environment as normal as possible for the child, which means that the child begins to interact with rest of society in the way that a child without the special ability or disability would interact. And so it's not just about the child with the mother or even the child with immediate family. It's also about the child interacting with society at large, with making friends, trying to make friends through this, making friends with similar people, similar children with similar disabilities, or with those without a disability, because the default kids can also use this. And we have received feedback that children without disability are actually quite happy to use something like this, just to be playful, but also in the process talk to those who are not able to in the normal way in which we perceive speech to be.
Absolutely, ma'am, because what your insight, what you say gives us the encouragement or the people around that we understand from the other perspective also. As you said, even children with absolutely no special requirements also would like to interact with the app so as to understand what their friend needs to communicate. So it is involving both part of the society. It's like making them at one is what I understand, what the message which you are giving us. So my question to either sir or ma'am can answer: can this app be used by neurotypical and neurodivergent people as well, or children, or is it only restricted to people with autism and
so Ajanta, you can answer.
Ravi, you can answer after this. I will do it in the context of the fact that today we are working with various I just call them special abilities rather than call them disabilities. So disabilities, strokes, special ability children who have, like you said, motor neutral, right? So children, for example, who have a condition called dysgraphia or dyscalculia. Dysgraphia is where they don't see images juxtaposed the way we do, or while calculating they see the numbers placed wrongly, etc. So they don't really have a motor neuron difficulty, but they have a difficulty in terms of perceiving images or numerals. They perceive them differently. Even dyslexic kids. So we are increasingly trying to expand the overall Jellow, where all of these children can come and use the interface. And so we are currently working with, we're doing two projects here. One where children with dysgraphia, dyscalculia, etc., will be able to use Jellow. And the other one is where children who have ADHD, etc., will also be able to use Jellow. They can do it, but we are also expanding and trying to create special spaces where all of these children can come in. But like I said, in the process, the autistic child's expanse of the universe increases, and true of all of these other children, because through this you're actually getting to meet more and more children who are their peer actually.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll just add to what Ajanta said. There are a couple of schools in the Northeast, they are all inclusive schools. They have all the children in the same class, and they actually have found that Jellow is a very good option even for the normal children to use it and make them part of the same learning environment, and we've had many interactions with them. So one of the things we also are actually developing is the sign language for normal children. Just imagine if the normal children know the basics of sign language, then they can actually very nicely talk to the people who cannot speak at all, right? Who use the sign language, so as to become inclusive. See, these are thoughts in the making. I think we'll be getting there. Yeah.
Wishing you all the best, sir, and looking really forward, for the caregivers and parents who need such support do get in future. So also there's a question from one of the viewers. They want to understand what other languages you might expand the app making. Is it in Malayalam too, or is it still, we are still considering that?
Yeah,
I'm going to answer it.
Roop, go ahead. Yeah.
So on the way, I think before end of this month, we are going to announce 2 new languages, Malayalam and Kannada language. Yeah, it's going to happen.
That's wonderful for our viewers. And I would also encourage our viewers to keep asking as much questions that comes to their mind. So we have the entire team here to, let us know in any such, questions like language option they want to ask. So going forward, I would again like to either ma'am or sir can answer this question. What are the USPs of the app, and how is it different from other apps that children are using currently?
Maybe
Ravi, I'll let you answer that. I just want to add something with regard to the availability of languages in the near future. We are actually working quite aggressively to bring all the 22 languages on board. There's a very big demand, and therefore a very big push from our side to include the languages of the Northeast, especially, of course, Assamese, but also the dialects like Khasi, etc. There is a very big demand for inclusion of Gurmukhi and so on. So we would like to, I just like to say that it's a very, very big priority for us to include different languages. Ravi, I'll let you, address that, and if there's something left, I'll speak so about the uniqueness of Jellow. How is it different?
Yeah, sure. So I think Shweta went through the unique points of Jellow. I'm just going to reiterate that again. One of the unique things of Jellow is that it is designed from child's point of view. Okay, so you'll see that it has been done from getting feedback from the child and watching how the children actually use it and making modifications, iterations, and developing it. That's one really unique point to it. Second is we have mapped the icons to the contextual. So for example, depending on the language you choose, your food items gets the suggestion of food changes. Your festivals will change. Even animals and surroundings that are part of your environment would get that. So that contextualization is something that we have built into Jellow. And I think slowly we are also getting into making use of some parts of AI in the next phase. Okay, so that this becomes much more easier for us to do, make it happen. That is probably the second one. Third is that Jellow right now, the basic version is, it's free to use. There is not that many AAC devices which are as detailed as Jellow, as extensive as Jellow, that you can get it for free. We have made it mainly from the point of view that we want it to be very inclusive. Cost should not be a deterrent for somebody to use it. We have to figure out how to support ourselves. That's something which we are still trying to figure out. But as of right now, we have made the application free to use. The fourth, I think, is that we have made it accessible to connect other devices to it. So again, not many AAC applications, you can connect it to external switches. It can be used by people who cannot see also, so that accessibility is also built into Jellow. So these are some of our considerations which make it very unique from the other applications which are out there. And I think the last point is that our user group has been from India. So we've not really done. So we feel that similar, culturally contextual groups like the Asian countries, the countries which lie on the temperate zone like Africa, South America, will probably find synergies with Jellow. So that's something which we are doing. We already have quite a few users from Africa, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Malaysia, so I'm sure that will region, because I think the mindsets are kind of similar and the needs are similar. So that is again makes it a kind of unique feature of Jellow.
Can I just add something here?
Yeah.
Wanted to mention that the fact that Jellow is free to use needs to be understood in the larger context of, the effort to contextualize it, the number of languages that we are trying to introduce, which is not machine driven. It's not. It's not. You just switch to Google and you get a translation. It's not like that. They're actually being translated manually, because then the language is not like the machine. It's like the way humans speak. And on that count, I would like to say that the 1200 plus icons on the app have all been generated in-house, as also the 10,000 plus pre-made sentences. Now, I'd like to add here that a lot of the apps, they, because it's digital screen-based, you can simply go to libraries, pick them up and redo them, or just simply take them the way they are. But ours have been generated with our own graphic design team, where we put in a lot of effort in trying to understand what kind of colors, what kind of shape, image, etc., that go into iconography. And because it has been generated with a lot of internal consistency across these graphical features, and of course they have been they've also been gifted with awards. We got a request from UNESCO because we worked with them if we would contribute our icons to the global library, and of course we agreed. And so, just to mention that we consider Jellow, everything that we've done that in-house, and all that we have done in-house and only in-house are all considered as public goods, global public goods, which also is an award we've been given, because everything that we generate is meant for everyone. It is to that extent inclusive. The Digital Public Goods Award comes after a lot of, you have to cross a lot of hoops to be able to be eligible for this. And when we were awarded it in 2022, we were only the 117th setup worldwide. In India, I think there are 3 or 4 other such setups like Pratham. So I just wanted to mention that for us, contextualizing the messaging and doing them in-house without taking it from anywhere else was extremely important. And that is the course to follow for us for all that we're going to do in future to expand Jellow.
Absolutely, and so encouraging, ma'am. As we could see, how Shweta was cascading through one icon to another, and how things were replicating and changing as per the needs. So I'm sure the viewers would have made a notice of it while Shweta was demonstrating. Thank you so much for letting us know on that. My next question goes to Roop sir in terms of little technical aspects to the app. So what are the technical aspects as a parent or as a user one should keep in mind before they are downloading the app onto the device? So we would like you to let the parents know on this.
Actually, Jellow application made such a manner, it's no need much more technical savvy person. It's a normal, you can as usual using any kind of Android phone or iOS phone. So it's a very beautiful application. The beauty is that once you download it from Play Store, and the other time you need only one-time internet connectivity. Other than no need internet connectivity. Once download and install at the time of all packages like language packages and other icon packages is downloaded to your phone. That's it. Then your application is working fine. That is the one big point here. And all other points I think Shweta already covered. Yeah.
Okay. So, sir, while you say that, this only one-time internet connection, that is what you need to download the app, and then it goes as packages like, are there any cybersecurity, threats with this, or while children are accessing the app with internet, and once you download it is available offline? So what are your thoughts and, insights to us?
Yeah, because the application is offline mode. So don't worry about all kind of threats, because any kind of application is online mode. It will be, there is many types of threats from cyber security and other kind of malicious hack to your mobile, but it is inside your mobile. It's like a very standalone application. Don't worry about all this. Yeah.
So just to add to this,
add something to this, and then you can come in.
And there is no threat of stealing your identity, your data from your mobile through this application. Yeah.
So what Roop is also trying to say is that the reason for this safety is a deliberately done safety feature from our end, where we do not keep any of the child's data on our system. Now, that is not a very attractive proposition for most, makers of apps, because for them, the database they generate helps them get funding, etc., right? But we have deliberately decided not to take anything from the child. We don't have any detail of the child residing on our server. It's only on the child's mobile phone. And apart from the fact that Roops, because if you're working offline, so the hacking doesn't happen. And it'll never happen that details about the child is going away, going out from Jellow, because we don't even have those details. And it is a feature called anonymizing data, which is something that very few setups will agree to do, because when you have data, you can leverage it, in the market and say, I can get this much funding because I have this much data. We could have had an enormous amount of, names under our belt, but we've decided we did deliberately, it's an ethical decision from Jellow to not do it. Ravi, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I just want to add that personal information is not something that we collect at all. We don't know who are these children, So it's also respect for privacy. If you see also, Jellow doesn't even have one picture of a child on its website. We want to protect the child's privacy, and we sincerely want to do that. So we don't have any information on them. So once the, Jellow application is downloaded onto their mobile or tablet, then there's no connection to the internet. So it won't get hacked. None of that information will go out, so that way there is a safety built into this structure. So in fact, if you put the child's name on Jellow, right, it resides inside your laptop or mobile. It doesn't go out at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we don't have any information on the child's, at least the personal information, we just don't have it. This is something we have done it as a policy right from the beginning, as a respect for the privacy of the children, and I think that probably is another unique feature of Jellow.
Yeah, here I want to add one thing. It's asynchronous mode application. It's not synchronous mode application. So that's why don't worry about all the things. No threat. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for putting, elaborating on this, because this is always an undercurrent worry of parents giving devices to children. So they might not get exposed to, cyber hacking or also all these things. So going forward, again, a question either sir or ma'am, or both of you can answer. What is the appropriate age for a child to get introduced to this app, basically? So parents would really be interested to know this.
Yeah, this has actually come from, feedback from the speech therapist, and caretakers. The ideal age, this particular application is from the age of 3 onwards till 9, By the time the child becomes 9, so if you look at it, here, the application only uses pre-made sentences. You have to create, or the application creates that sentence for you. So it is in the development stage of learning a language, where you tell the child, this is the sentence, and the child repeats it, So once they're able to actually make a sentence, I think they can move on to the Jellow Plus, which is different. There you actually have words and you have to string the words together to make a sentence, So that's a big difference between the two. So that's why we're calling it Jellow Basic, and it can be used from 3 to 9 years of age. But if the child is very good, let's say at the age of 6 and gets to, make sentences, then they can move on to Jellow Plus,
Also,
But from our experience, it's been 3 to 9.
Also in the reverse, the chronological age of the child in normal, in default children, and the chronological age of the child afflicted with autism spectrum or cerebral palsy is not always coterminous. They're not the same. So it could be that a child requires Jellow support, Jellow basic support for longer, and there's nothing to be troubled about that. That is entirely for the parent to assess, in terms of for how long they would like to continue to use Jellow. It's the comfort level of the child and the parent. And of course, whoever else they're consulting, if they're consulting a speech therapist, the speech therapist will also help them understand. But I think it becomes pretty obvious at one point that the child yearns to make his own sentences, and that would be when you would move to the next level.
So I hope parents are making note of it, so that how mindfully and thoughtfully each feature or each, Jellow aspect has been designed, keeping in mind the user friendliness, the child's readiness, and all such aspects. And thank you so much, sir and ma'am, for letting us know. So here I have got to know that if you're aware, Chitra Paul and Padma Jyoti from Talking Fingers have recommended this app for our platform to explore, to the parents. So they've already, put it across to a lot of parents in terms of, letting them know of the app. And Neena Girish, one of, again, our viewers, is saying that she is highly appreciative of the efforts put in making this app. So really acknowledges, the deep thoughts which have gone into it. And so again, moving forward in our interest of time, so I just wanted to know, how does, does the app would really require a therapist guide initially, a therapist to guide the parents, or it, as Shweta had demonstrated, it can be self-learning pace or self-guided?
Absolutely, it can be self-guided, but if the child is interacting with a therapist, it's also good to have the therapist come in, with the Jellow, because then the therapist can actually schedule the activities, so that becomes a much more helpful. But if the child is not going to a therapist, the caretaker or the parents can actually easily make use of the device, Yeah,
Right.
so I think even, we are also working on the scheduling part of it. I think in a month's time, we'll also have a scheduler along with Jellow, So right now it is not there, but I think just give us a month's time, we'll include that part of it.
Yeah, maybe my next question was on that only. So I would request Vidya to help us here and help our parents understand. As Sir just mentioned, you're already, planning a scheduler. So will there be a few training sessions, as Sir said just now, for parents initially, by the team to hold them? And also, in case the parents are not so competent in terms of understanding how this app will work, but they actually can, like Shweta just showed the demo, they can actually gauge that, yes, this is really helpful for my child. So what if Vidya could tell us, our viewers, about the Jellow's outreach and how the support mechanism works for them?
Yeah, surely. So actually what we do is we do conduct workshops on a regular basis. Mostly it happens every 2 weeks we are having. So let me just take you quickly through our outreach program. So I've just made a very small presentation for you all. So it's like we are aware that there are so many people, there are so many children in India and somewhere around 140 million children worldwide who have speech and communication difficulty. So Jellow is committed to making positive impact on the lives of these children. As a part of our outreach program, we are conducting workshops. That is, we are conducting every 2 weeks, we have a workshop. Then, wherein there are parents, there are speech language therapists, there are different organizations and schools who are participating in this. So that is there. Then we have a WhatsApp group and a Telegram. On that also, we keep on sending all our messages to them, like when is the workshop going to happen, the next workshop is going to happen, and also on the updates of the new features or maybe some new language has been added. So that information is also given to them or through the WhatsApp groups, which, through our network, we are giving it. Then we are, as I said, we are collaborating with schools and NGOs and all. So in case if anybody wants to conduct any exclusive workshop for their particular school or maybe for a particular organization, we do that. We do it exclusively for them. And yes, we have our brochures and posters to download, and we can give it to you all, to put it on your in your school. Then, of course, we need your support for this, and we need your feedbacks so that we can put on new things in the, like every time something new comes. Like this, recently we had a query, or they wanted something like if the child deletes one of the boards, the customized board, then what? Then we have to again redo it. So for that, we have again made a feature called trash, wherein accidentally if the board gets deleted, it goes into the trash. So something like these unique feedbacks which we get from the users, we try to get it, and then we try to solve it, and we can put those features in it. So yes, and so we need good user feedbacks. Then of course, as we said, that we have languages, also different languages with us. So for the translation, we need support. So there are certain NGOs who are helping us for this translations, So there are so many more languages which we need. So we need for that support also from you all. And of course, for doing all this, Jellow is actively seeking for a CSR support to ensure that our activities continue. So this is what we do. Yeah.
I just wanted to add something here.
Yes.
Which is, more in the realm of what can the parent do if he or she gets stuck, that Rashmi began the question with.
Yeah.
Right. So, there are some parents who could feel tentative about how to use it. until the point where they get comfortable. So you can get in touch with Vidya, and she will help the parent to get comfortable, bringing in Shweta, bringing in Roop. For example, sometimes they have difficulty downloading. The Roop or
Yeah.
Shweta could help, right? Shweta could take them through the, through the interfaces. Yet again, because sometimes some may be more, some parents may be more acclimatized to the digital environment, but others may not be, and we are prepared to handhold them. Even at an individual level. Ideally, if a group get together and we are able to demonstrate, that's always more optimal. But just coming down to the individual parent and addressing his or her uncertainty, we are prepared to do that, and Vidya is there to help you with that.
Yes. So I'll just share my number with you all. So you can just, that's our WhatsApp number that is there now on the screen. So you can just take down those numbers. You can visit our website, and in that we have all videos also, or you could say whatever feature, like the content of the this app also is well explained in those videos. So that also you can see there are tutorials available on this app, so you can go through that also. So it's very simple, it's very easy to use. But still, in case if you get stuck up somewhere, you can definitely reach us on this number, or you can write to me on jellowcommunicator@gmail.com. So this is it. And of course, today also we have as I said, we have workshops. So we have a 3:00 workshop today also. So, it's like that. So every week, every twice in a week, we'll be having one workshop.
Every second?
Every second. You can take it as second and fourth Saturdays, we normally have a workshop. The second and fourth Saturdays.
So that's really encouraging to know. And I'm sure, some of the parents like Archana Patil ma'am here, she's viewing the session live. She was wanting to share, have the contact details. So Vidya shared it. I'm sure she'll be benefited with this. And as you mentioned, there's self-tutorials, self-videos. So at times, some parents, as ma'am said, are very digital, gadget friendly, while some get overwhelming feeling with maybe when they see an app. So that was the only ask, that if they feel overwhelmed, they will definitely reach out to you in case they feel real difficulty. So thank you so much, Vidya, for letting our parents and the caregivers and the therapists know all about this, because support system is really needed in terms when they start using it. They're going to explore it more and they might get stuck, and you will be the right person to reach out to help them. Thank you so much for that to the parents here. So as we are progressing towards the end of the session, so my question to Sir, ma'am, and the entire team is, what are your recommendations for parents, special educators, and therapists regarding using this app?
Ajanta, you can go ahead.
A little bit of this was addressed earlier. There is always this dilemma when you're faced with an app which is driven by technology. You're faced with an app, and you're faced with a gadget, and you're faced with something that's driven by technology. If that is going to make you dependent on the product, harnessing yourself to the product, it's going to help you, is what is the ultimate, intent. But in the process of harnessing the thought that, I might just get so dependent, that my child might never be like a normal individual. And I think that is an area where we would constantly like to emphasize that Jellow is a friendly companion. And from time to time, a lot of different education aids come into the market, or even parallel education systems. And we know that you can never replace the teacher. So in this case too, the parent is there to handle the child. And if there is any special teacher or caregiver, it can all form a friendly congenial ecosystem within which the child works. And at the end, the intent for all of these stakeholders, including us, is to see that the child feels better, the child feels more confident, and in the process, gains in self-esteem. I think lack of self-esteem is a problem with all of us. And if somebody gives me a way that helps me work through and makes me feel more confident, I would love to use it. And so Jellow is meant to eventually aid in increasing self-confidence, in the process making the child feel more sure-footed, happier, and so on. Just the simple human needs, we all need to do that, to feel, you get up in the morning and you say, I am sorted because I have Jellow. It's just that simple feeling, not that, oh God, I'm going to have to do the whole thing to Jellow. No, we build Jellow such that that Jellow becomes a companion for both the child and the parents, as a connecting bridge between the child and the parent, as a connecting bridge between the child and his other friends, his school teachers, and increasingly the idea that Professor Poovaiah mentioned, that there are many parts of the country today, including globally, where schools are trying to become inclusive. So it means that if you are a differently abled child, it would be nice to have them amidst the regular default children. And I know there are very young people today who are saying, some of our students, for example, who have actually started to learn sign language because they say, it's a fun thing to do. And if I knew sign language, I would be able to speak to more people. So there is already a push to include them into your fold, but also the other way around, to include yourself in the folds of children with who are differently abled. Because I think we need to bring in a seamless connection between those that we have always kept at a distance, saying they're differently abled, and us, and remove the barrier of those and us. Jellow will always be meant to be a companion, a friend and a companion, someone who you will miss rather than not want to have around.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for that, for this empowering thought and a mindset shift, because inclusion is just not, specially abled going there, but the other way around.
Yes.
All of us understanding them and being, larger part of the community is. So I also read somewhere today in the morning, so it is not about making our children be in the school, but any of the social aspects, but us understanding them is what is more inclusivity than they being just the allowed to be part of the mainstream. So that's really encouraging. And also, like ma'am just mentioned, that sign language is again breaks the barrier of communication, because we generally have a mindset that communication means only orally speaking. So keeping that in view, our platform, we have also, we are holding a webinar very soon for all of us, not only with children or with those needs, but all of us who can be part of those webinars to teach the basic of sign language. And we are doing it in association with Sign Language of India, so that we as community also be equally part, that we are able to communicate better. And as what Shweta was also showing in the app is also designed to go to the market also, rupees, bread, so that all comes, so much is in there. Thank you so much, each and every member of Jellow. So, ma'am,
I wanted to just add.
Yeah, sure, ma'am.
Like you have a Teachers' Day, you have Parents' Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. Our aim is to see that one day we have Jellow Day, not just Jellow, but everything like Jellow. You have one day where all of us do everything through an app like Jellow, through Jellow or through apps like Jellow. And so we become like one world where we put ourselves in their shoes and realize what the efforts are there. And by realizing that, of course, in our case, because we do user studies, the idea is to transplant those gaps into Jellow. But just at a normal everyday level, how about we just all do Jellow one day and realize, it's like doing a blindfold and walking around and realizing how privileged you are. And you don't have to feel so privileged, because I think that feeling of you being different from the others, that slowly needs to be erased. It needs to come down. I don't know if it'll ever go altogether, but at least it needs to come down. And just by the law of averages, I know that a lot of young people, students, they look at things differently today, perhaps because of social media, perhaps because they use screens that are touch screens, that are the screens that are sensitive to gesture generation, etc. So there's a whole world that they're constantly interacting with, that digital world. And so their interaction with all other people through the digital medium, in whatever way that they can, expand their own understanding of that medium, is something that they're trying. So it's a nice, hopefully it is going to be a good convergence at some point in time.
Definitely, ma'am. And thank you so much for, taking out your precious time on a Saturday morning and sharing such great insights for our parents. We really, truly appreciate. Have a wonderful, wonderful day ahead. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we need to thank you also. Yeah,
and all the
Dr.
parents,
Yeah.
Rashmi, for holding this.
We are grateful. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Yeah.